This entitled parent takes advantage of a neighborhood help group who looks after the sick and the elderly. You won't believe what she asks them to do next. Thanks to everyone who watched the collab video yesterday with Tyson. Be sure to watch the video after this one if you haven't seen it. It'll be at the end card. And don't forget to subscribe to Good Morning Reddit hosted by Tyson. Link below. Happy birthday if today's your birthday, and on with the show. This happened maybe about a year ago, before the whole pandemic started. The weather had been nice, and I had just gotten some sirloin steaks. I haven't used my grill since the previous year, so I decided now would be a good time to try it out. For a few days, a group of construction workers had been busy working on a new house. It's built now and it's pretty nice. Way too expensive for me though, but it had been hot and or rainy almost the entire duration of the build, and they were working their butts off the whole way through. So I decided to be nice, and after going over to the site, I yelled for them to come get some free food when they went on break. They were incredibly grateful. There were about 5 workers present, and 4 of them showed up for steak, while the others passed. I had enough for everyone, including one for me, and we had a nice time chatting and getting to know one another. One was a veteran of the Marines back in the early 80s. He's friends with my grandma now. One was even related to the sheriff of our county. Anyway, amid the conversation, we heard an "excuse me" from the other side of the fence. My neighbor is this middle-aged woman with a super freaky son. He was this stoner influencer who loved to go on social media and post about his fetish for pot, and lived off his mother's paycheck every week while living on her couch. He was also in his mid-30s. There she was, on the other side of the fence. In the story is EM entitled mom, GAK grown kid, CW 1 and 2 construction worker 1 and 2, and P police officer. My son was wondering if he can have some steak too. Sorry, I don't have any left. But you have enough for all of them. Yeah, I do. If he wanted some, he should have come earlier. No, you should have brought enough for everyone. Look lady, this guy was nice enough to cook. Don't you have work you should be doing? We're on lunch, ma'am. She soon left in a huff, but not before shouting that she was calling the police. I was the only one who heard that, I think, so I asked the relative of the sheriff if there was really anything the police would arrest me for. Of course he said no. In his words, there are no laws against not sharing. I asked if we should tell her that, and he again said no. Again, his words. It would be the most fun they've had on the job ever since they started building that house. Note, I actually did have an extra steak. I was saving it for later. Sure enough, after the construction workers went back to the site, who's to show up but a police officer? No lights, so it's a non-emergency. But he parked right outside EM's house. Both her and the kid walked out and greeted the police. I walked out on my lawn, and EM pointed straight at me. I can't quite remember everything said here, but she was accusing me of discrimination because I left her 30-year-old boy out of our little steak party. I swear it was like a kindergarten lunch. P obviously shook it off, warned her to not get the police involved in something so ridiculous again, and started to leave. But I said, "Wait, officer, are you hungry?" "Well, I haven't had lunch yet. Why?" "May I offer you a steak?" "I knew it! You do have more steak! I demand you give it to my son now!" "And I demand you both go back into your house before I arrest you for disturbing the peace, and possibly harassment." But he can't do that, tell him, GAK! I just wanted some steak." "Officer, you have to do something about this. This man is performing a hate crime on my own son." We both actually laughed. P said something along the lines of, "Have a good day," and I led him into my backyard. I had to give him the steak raw since he had to go back on his patrol, but we had a good laugh. EM and GAK finally went back into their house, and every time that I see them nowadays, she scowls at me, while GAK just pays no attention. I occasionally see that same officer from time to time, and every time I see him, he asks the same thing. "Did you remember to share today?" Okay, so I'm a little confused here. This 30-something-year-old dude who still lives with his mom smells this guy barbecuing steak next door and is like, "Yo mom, get me some of that steak." I don't know, he seems actually pretty chill about it the whole time. I'm not sure if it was actually the mom who wanted the steak and just used the son as the excuse. Yeah, let me know in the comments below who you think actually wanted the steak. Do you think it was the mom or do you think it was the kid? I live in a large-ish apartment block complex. It's actually nice. in Central Europe, and when our government issued the virus social distancing rules and recommendations, the neighborhood office, small non-profit organization of neighbors, they offer some neighborhood help coordination such as borrowing tools from neighbors, a small leave one and take one library book exchange, and information about activities for kids. Started to coordinate neighborhood help for risk group people or people in self-quarantine. There is no strict stay-at-home order in my country, but most stores, except grocery stores, are closed, and it's not allowed to meet in groups of more than 5 people, except if you live together. But it is still recommended that if you are tested positive or experience any virus-related symptoms, that you stay at home for 14 days. And if you belong to a risk group, you should be extra careful, and if possible, not go outside. Schools are closed as well, which makes it difficult for parents, of course. So the Neighborhood Virus Help Group did what most of these help groups do. Volunteers can sign up and are connected with people who need help, such as elderly people with dogs who don't feel safe leaving their apartments, and therefore need someone who walk their dogs or buy the groceries they need, or people who are in self-quarantine. I am a student and a research assistant, and because the universities are shut down, I have a lot of free time during the day, so I signed up too. So just for your information, this help group has a lot of volunteers, but not many people actually request help. It's the same with almost all of these groups, so if you need assistance and there is such a group available, please do request help. People are willing to help and it's not a burden to them. Just don't be a Karen. So, about 3 weeks ago, I got a notification from one of these coordinators that I should connect with EM, who contacted the group and asked for assistance. I was glad I finally could do something, so I called this person immediately. Hello, this is my name. I got notified by the help group that you need some assistance. What can I do for you?
Oh, thank goodness, finally. Yes, I need.
She immediately starts listing grocery items, and I try to write it all down as quickly as possible.
And also, it would be great if someone could walk my 2 puppies every day. And I am going crazy with the school. I need someone to watch my kids while they do their online classes.
So regarding groceries, I start reading the very long list back to her to make sure I got everything, while she further explains what exact brands she wants and how much she is willing to pay for it. I am not sure we can get everything you need because some of these things are sold in stores that are currently closed, but I'll pass this list on to the person who is coordinating the shopping today, and we can see what we can do.
What do you mean? I need these things immediately.
We are coordinating all the groceries first, ma'am, so that we can get everything in 1 or 2 trips. I am sorry, but you'll have to wait until tomorrow, and it might be that we can't get everything you need. Also, what kind of dogs do you have? I ask this because I don't feel comfortable around large dogs. I mean, all doggos are beautiful, but I get nervous around large dogs, especially if I don't know them.
2 German Shepherds. When can you come over and walk them?
I'm sorry, ma'am, but I'm not good with large dogs like yours. But I'll post a notification in the help group ASAP so that someone else can help you with that, okay? I'm sure someone would love to play with your dogs.
Wow, I can't believe this. You are supposed to help me. What about my kids? Don't tell me you can't come over and watch them either.
I am sorry, ma'am, but we're not babysitters. I understand the situation is difficult with the schools being closed, but if you have technical difficulties setting up the online learning environment, I can try to help you with that.
Babysitter? I don't need a babysitter. I need someone to watch my 12 and 14-year-old sons because they are lazy and refuse to do their homework. I am going crazy.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that.
What? You were supposed to help me!
She is yelling at me at this point. I'm trying to. I already sent your list of groceries to the coordinator and posted your request to help with the dogs in the group chat. I get that this situation is hard for you, but we are a help group to assist sick people and the elderly. Even with so many volunteers, we are not prepared to organize tutoring or babysitters too. I am sorry. Also, I'm not supposed to enter your apartment.
I knew it. All you do is care about the elderly, but no one cares about the single mothers like me. Also, what are you talking about? Sick people?
Well, yes, people who can't go outside because they are self-quarantining.
What do you mean? Did you have contact with infected people? How dare you offer to come to my house then? Are you crazy? Ew, no. I don't want you people to touch my food or my dogs.
She then went on how she doesn't want us to bring her groceries or walk her dogs and hung up on me. Problem solved, I guess. If you're a single mum, yes, life is going to be harder for you than it would a normal family. But these people are there to help a very specific group of people for a very specific reason. If you demand their help, especially for things that they're not supposed to do like babysitting your kids, then that means that's time and energy that they can't spend helping those in need. Disclaimer: I am constantly being accused of exploiting a system. First off, if I did, then I would have known from somebody who works there. Secondly, I didn't get a discount due to being a minor. Lastly, the people in my group was just myself and my parents. So before you angrily tell me that I was exploiting a system, I wasn't. Please don't be that person. In the story is EM Karen, NK nice kid, MAM medical assistant mum, and me. The backstory: I volunteer at my local VA medical center. I used to do it at first just to see what it was like. Now I enjoy it. I signed up for a clinical and administrative job for different days, and I enjoy both of them. Both of my parents work in the medical industry, one of them being on the front line of this pandemic. I went shopping so I don't go too insane from quarantine. Those who have badges from working in a hospital can invite more people, 2-person max, and even get a discount. Me, knowing that I volunteered at a hospital, decided to do an experiment. My parents and I came in with our badges and masks on, and we were all let in. Everything was normal. We were just shopping and talking about our garden. My mum and I were asked to get frozen fruit, because I like to mix fruit in with my protein shakes until the gates of heck have opened. Right when I turned around with my frozen strawberries, maskless EM stops me right in my tracks and eyes my volunteer badge.
Shouldn't you be at home?
Why are you asking me this?
You're a volunteer. You shouldn't be out here.
Neither should you. You're not wearing a mask. Nonetheless following the social distancing rule.
At least I have a paying job.
That's when it hit me. Are you saying that I shouldn't be here because I'm not getting paid for what I do?
Exactly. You're exploiting the benefits of working in a hospital. Let the real workers have their benefits.
I don't need a paycheck for working in a hospital. It's something I enjoy doing.
That'll change soon.
MAM turns around seeing a strange woman in my face, so she approaches us, hoping to dissolve the quarrel. I can sense the mama bear in her already. I'm sorry, but what is going on?
Finally, actual medical personnel. Can you tell this poser to get the heck out of here?
Well, hopes of dissolving it peacefully have gone out the window. Excuse me, you cannot tell my daughter that. She can count as medical personnel as she also works with patients.
Does she even come in contact with patients with the virus?
Me thinking, playing the virus card? The volunteering section is closed until the pandemic dies down.
See, she is a deadbeat. What kind of parent are you? Letting your kid be entitled? You ought to scold her.
Coming from a Karen, my mum and EM's kid laugh. She gets in my face and yells at me.
I don't know who you are, but you better not disrespect your adults. If you love your mother so much, then take that badge off and get the heck out of here.
EM leaves, but her kid stays behind. Hey man, sorry about that. My mum is just scared because of this pandemic. She saw you with your mums and she got angry and wanted to check to see if you should be here or not. Personally, I like that you volunteer at a hospital. Thanks. You should try volunteering at the VA when the season opens. Maybe I will sometime. NK leaves to go catch up with her mum. After that, MAM and I return to the cart with the frozen berries. I have met Karens before, but that's because they hate me for having colored hair, liking anime, or listening to metal. Never have I ever had an encounter as bad as this. Medical staff get compensated for the work they do by getting paid, right? And as a way to show moral support, a lot of other businesses are giving them discounts and things like that, because these are more troubling times for them than normal. So why would that count less for somebody who doesn't get any compensation for the work that they volunteer at the medical center? They're basically in the same situation, but they're not getting paid for it. I'm not quite sure what their logic was, like why does getting paid for it make you then entitled to all the extra benefits? Submit your story to be read on the channel at VoiceyHereStories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.